Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwantner and welcome to Selling Power's Daily Report. Today we continue our series with Keith Rosen on coaching.
So Katie, we're talking about cold calling today. You mentioned to me you're on the phone a lot every day.
Right.
Can you tell me a little about your cold calling efforts to date?
You know, when I get somebody on the phone, I like to connect to them right away. I know people are busy. We're dealing with a lot of IT professionals that don't have a lot of time to spare. So I have, maybe 20 seconds max to kind of reel them in. So I really look at my goal as to just getting in front of the customer. I like to just try to get a couple minutes of time, give me 5 minutes. Instead of spending 2 minutes on the phone, going over our routine, who we are, what we do, could we be of service to you? I'd rather give me 5 minutes to come by. I'm in your area. I just want 5 minutes of your time.
Have you ever been on a meeting where you walk out of that meeting and say, why did I even meet with these people in the first place? This is a waste of time.
I think everybody in sales as a whole, you do that,
What if you can do what you're doing, get the referrals, get the additional names, find out if they're a fit, before you have to get in your car and actually drive? What if the intention of a cold call is simply this, to see if there's a fit? What are those questions that you ask? You told me before you ask about company size. You told me you ask about their position. What other questions do you ask them?
I ask how many times a year do they use consultants?
Okay, great.
Are they interested in our remote database administration program?
So there's the industry-related questions that you've shared with me, but I think there are the other questions which drive the sales process forward. And those questions can sound like some of the things. How do you typically go about making a decision like this? If this was a fit for you, how would you proceed from this point? Then there are the other questions, Katie, which also motivate the meeting. See, I heard you say before, hey, I'm calling, I'd like to get in front of you for 5 minutes. The problem is, you're calling up them, and what are you doing right away? You're asking for something.
Right.
So you're calling them, we're interrupting what they're doing in their busy day. They stop what they're doing, pick up the phone, and then we say, hi, can I have something from you?
Right.
So then we wonder why there's resistance often on the other side. Well, what if we don't ask for something and we're coming from a place of giving value more? And what if that meeting is the natural byproduct of what we talked about, of having the initial objective of a cold call, seeing if there's a fit?
Right.
If you're coming from a place in your mind that you're seeing if there's a fit, you're going to ask more questions. You're going to spend the time to determining whether or not it makes sense for you to go out and even meet with them in the first place. And then focusing on whether or not it would make sense for them to meet, getting them to have buy-in in the meeting. Very simple question. If you don't change anything, what would it cost you in the long run? If you keep doing things the way you are now, what's this going to cost you? How is this going to affect you? How is this going to affect your job? How is this going to affect your bottom line?
Right.
Because after all, as you know, Katie, people don't make a decision from a place of, oh, a nice new added benefit.
Right.
People make decisions and make quicker decisions when there's a problem and a pain that needs to be solved. If we can unpack what that pain is, the cost of not taking action, you're going to be able to schedule not only more meetings, but more qualified meetings. So what does that mean to you? It means saving time for you. It means investing your time in the qualified prospects, not in the ones that you have no business following up with in the first place. So Katie, based on what I just shared with you, and bringing that qualification process now building it into your cold calling efforts,
Right.
What new possibilities are open for you at this point?
I like meetings and I like getting people on the phone. And I think maybe if I bring a little bit what I take into my meetings onto the phone, like you said, instead of asking somebody for something, let me have a meeting from you, let me get something from you, maybe I could say, here's what we do, could I be a benefit to you? Maybe ask them, reverse it, see if there was anything that I could offer them. And I think that that's a good way to form relationships, the same way as getting in front of them. So I think that anything to save time, of course.
Great. So you're going to start using them too when you get back
Absolutely.
to the office? Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you so much, Keith. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it as well.
you.
Thanks.
Keith, I thought you did a terrific job in helping her overcome her challenges with cold calling. What would you say is the single most difficult obstacle that salespeople face with cold calling, and how do most managers respond?
I think there's two inherent challenges when it comes to cold calling, Gerhard. I think the first one is a little more obvious. That's making sure they have the right tactical approach. That is, what are they saying when they pick up the phone and actually make the call? And then secondly, is their mindset in the most strategic place? That is it enhancing them or is it consuming their efforts? She was a great example of someone that's effective on the phone, but we created an opportunity to even raise the bar a little higher, taking someone who's already a great producer and making them even better. And we did that with her by simply tweaking a couple of subtle nuances in her approach. One of them being making sure that she is focusing on what the core objective of a cold call truly is. That is, to see if there's a fit. Not to push the appointment, not to do a demo, not to get the sale, but to see if there's a fit. The byproduct of that mindset changes our approach to becoming someone who is more inquisitive, to becoming someone who's more curious, and someone who's going to do a better job asking questions and qualifying that prospect before we go out and waste our precious time meeting with people that we might not have any business meeting with in the first place.
And she was traveling a little bit too much, and you helped her cut down on that by finding the match in advance by asking more questions. Great coaching lesson.
Thanks.
Thank you.